Right now in the NFL, everybody knows that the Detroit Lions could desperately use an edge rusher, and that they're actively searching for one. But an ex-GM just absolutely made probably one of the most outrageous trade proposals that has ever been made in history. We're going to talk about it, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are? And what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. It doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. My friends, I'm going to tell you this right now. When it comes to, the big-time TV shows, the talk shows, the radio shows, all that nonsense, I always find it funny when you get people that come onto the show, and sometimes it might be a guest viewer, a guest person that comes on, and sometimes it might be a regular viewer, a regular person that comes on. Pardon me, I keep trying to say viewer there. But the thing that I always find funny is that every once in a while, you're going to get somebody that makes an absolutely bizarre, absurd, outlandish, ridiculous sort of statement that catches everybody's freaking attention because it is so far out there that you wonder, is this person on something? Like, are they seriously off their rocker? Well, that happened today for the Detroit Lions. Now, like I said in my intro, everybody in the NFL knows the Detroit Lions are looking for an edge rusher. They have made inquiries ever since Aiden Hutchinson has gone down. They are actively shopping to potentially make a trade. There have been potential rumors that have said that maybe the Lions might be interested in Zadarius Smith. There's rumors that they inquired about Myles Garrett. There's also talks that, about maybe Arden Key, Trey Hendrickson. These are all names that have been thrown out and around the, trade market as potential ideas for the Detroit Lions. However, though, nothing's really materialized. Well, Mike Tannenbaum, who is a former NFL GM for the New York Jets, he was on a television show today, and I think it was First Take or Get Up, something like that. I can't remember which one it was, but he got on the show, and he was talking about this situation with the Detroit Lions. And his, oh good Lord, his trade proposal was that the Detroit Lions were to trade for Myles Garrett, which, okay, we already know the Lions have at least looked in that direction, but we know that the Browns are not going to trade Myles Garrett. At least not for something that is not extremely, crazy, which is exactly what, this is exactly what freaking Mike Tannenbaum decided to do. He said that the Detroit Lions should trade for Myles Garrett, and in return, the Browns get back 3 first-round draft picks, 1 second-round draft pick, and running back Jahmyr Gibbs. Dude, I'm sorry, but how is this guy a former NFL GM? This has got to be the most asinine idea I have ever heard of. I mean, I've heard some pretty ridiculous ideas. I mean, we live in a social media world where it's like people can get on social media, they can present ideas, they can put stuff up, and it just go wherever. But I'm telling you this right now, I have never seen a proposal so far out there in freaking, left field from the loony bin like this one. I'm sorry. Nobody is worth freaking 3 first-round draft picks. Nobody's worth that. I don't care who it is. And here's the thing. The only position I could even think about even remotely trading that much for, and I'm just talking about first-round draft picks, we haven't even gotten to all the other crap yet, is a quarterback. And it'd have to be a quarterback like Tom Brady-esque, like once-in-a-lifetime kind of player. Like, you're never going to get another chance at a player like this, ever. That's the only way I could even possibly try to justify that. But what makes this even worse is not only did this freaking, there are so many different words I could use for him right now, but this freaking just insane individual decided that, okay, not only are we going to go with freaking 3 first-round draft picks, we're going to tack on a second-round draft pick on top of that, and then we're going to tack on Jahmyr Gibbs. I just cannot understand this. How, as a former NFL GM, could you possibly let something like this come out of your damn mouth? Like, this is so far removed from the reality. I seriously have to question if he was just doing it to try and get a reaction, which he certainly got. He got it from everybody in the freaking studio that he was in, and he's gotten it from a lot of people in the actual world. But it's like, dude, this is the kind of trade that absolutely kills franchises. It destroys them. In fact, you know what this trade is? I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is the freaking Sean McVay, Les Snead trade for Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford on freaking steroids. Think about it. The freaking Stafford-Goff trade was Stafford and Goff being swapped, and then the Rams threw in 2 first-round draft picks and a third-round draft pick. That's in essence what this is, but again, hopped up on steroids. The third-round draft pick goes to a freaking second-round draft pick, and we're tacking on an extra first-round draft pick on top of that. It's like, dude, I mean, you adopted the freaking Les Snead mindset of F them picks, and you just freaking ran with it. That's exactly what this is. And the worst part about it is that what he said afterwards just absolutely blew my mind. Because after he got the chance to give his proposal, and everybody just absolutely lost their cools, lost their, whatever, he then proclaimed that this trade would make sure the Lions won the Super Bowl. Okay, here's where I'm not going to be so, constricted on my language a little bit, but it's like, dude, are you that big of a jackass to think that that would possibly work? Here's the reason why this wouldn't work. Jahmyr Gibbs, simply put, is one of the biggest cogs in our freaking offensive engine. I mean, for crying out loud, the last 2 games we played, he's put up over 115 yards rushing. And this guy is a threat out of the backfield. He's a freaking home run hitter. Hell, you go back to the game we just played against the Titans. First play of a drive, he goes off for 70 yards. That's it. That's the drive. 70-yard touchdown. And you, freaking Mike Tannenbaum, you think that that is a good idea to trade that talented player away. Okay. Dude, the reason that he gave for trading away Jahmyr Gibbs was, well, he's just replaceable. He said, you can replace Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay, again, I'm going to use a little colorful language here, that more so than what I normally use. Okay, jackass, I want you to tell me, out in the NFL right now, who is similar to freaking Jahmyr Gibbs. Name me one other running back right now in the NFL that has a familiar or even remotely close skill set to what Jahmyr Gibbs has. There's not one damn running back that you can find in the NFL right now that even comes close to the skill set that Jahmyr Gibbs has, nor simply put the freaking speed he has. But yet somehow this freaking, loser of a GM thinks, oh yeah, you can easily replace him. I don't know if he said the word easily, but I know he did say replaceable. That I do know. You think you can just replace a player like Jahmyr Gibbs. And let's think about this, folks. 3 actual first-round draft picks plus Jahmyr Gibbs. That's actually 4 first-round draft picks. Because we just drafted Jahmyr Gibbs 2 years ago. And all of a sudden, now you're just wanting to say, screw it, we're just going to toss you in because we want to get this guy right now. Even though, while that might fix the defensive pass rush problem, now we have a big freaking hole at where there used to be one of the best playmakers in the NFL. This is just why this is absolutely asinine on a level that is beyond even considered, like, I don't even know how you would put it. It is so far out of reality. I just have to step back and I'm like, dude, how were you ever a freaking NFL GM? Because I actually went back and I took a look at this guy's record. This guy was a GM for the New York Jets from 2006 to 2012. So this guy actually was in charge of the Jets as far as, decision-making process when, that's right, they brought in Brett Favre for 1 year, when they had Rex Ryan, who got them to 2 AFC Conference Championship games. So, okay here. This guy at least can say that he was around some successful teams. But what was his actual record as a GM in terms of the win-loss category? It was 57-55. So pretty much you broke even. I can guarantee you this right now. For most Jets fans, they would probably take that in a heartbeat. But back in those days, nah. But then again, what is a GM actually, regarded as being successful on? Their draft history. Okay, here. I decided to go back and take a look at this dude's draft history. And surprisingly enough, this guy actually has a couple of solid, really good picks. The probably best pick he ever had was the Darrelle Revis pick. The guy's in the Hall of Fame. The guy had 4 first-team All-Pros. He was also a 7-time Pro Bowler. I mean, you're not going to get a better freaking, spot on your resume as a GM than to say, yeah, I drafted a Hall of Fame player. He also had a couple of other good picks. Ferguson, who was a tackle for the Jets early back, I think it was in 2006 when he drafted him. And that was the same draft that he also got Nick Mangold, one of the best centers in the NFL for a very long time. So, okay, this guy's had some pretty solid draft picks when he was in the job. But he also had some real bad ones. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm trying to set up a comparison here really quickly. The guys that he missed on were Vernon Gholston, a guy that he drafted in the first round who lasted in the NFL for literally only 3 years, and as a defensive edge rusher, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, never got a freaking sack. You wasted a first-round draft pick on this dude. He lasted 3 years and never got the team one damn sack. And in fact, he only got the team one QB hit. And then this is also the same dude that drafted Mark Sanchez, the same quarterback out of USC that was supposed to be the next big thing, and yet the only thing that Mark Sanchez is now remembered for is the butt fumble. I mean, if you want to really talk about, being the ass end of a joke, that's quite literal. And considering the fact that you, Tannenbaum, were the one that drafted him, hey, it's on you, buddy. Now, why am I bringing this up? The reason I'm bringing it up is because of this reason. Mike Tannenbaum was the GM of the Jets for 6 years. Actually, technically seven if you want to, count the seasons actually, but I'm talking about from 06 to 12. But anyway, that right there shows that he was in the job for at least a decent period of time. Brad Holmes has been now the GM of the Detroit Lions, and he has had 4 drafts. So this is year 4 for him. So, okay, it's not been 6 or 7 like Tannenbaum, but it's still a very sizable freaking, what's the word I'm looking for here? Pool of data. I just got to ask you this right now. How many true misses has Brad Holmes realistically had in his drafts? And I consider a miss anybody that's really been drafted from the 3rd round up. If we realistically want to talk about it, so far I can't really think of a real true miss. There are some guys that we haven't seen yet because they're still developing. There are some guys that we're just now starting to see because they may have had injuries and other things, but it's like, dude, you take a look at Brad Holmes' track record as a GM. I mean, just go down the list of guys that he has drafted, and it literally just lights up like a damn Christmas tree. That's the difference in the comparison I'm trying to make here, is that Mike Tannenbaum, who was trying to give advice, in essence, to Brad Holmes, the guy who, in Detroit, has quite literally built a team from drafting so damn well over the last 4 years. This dude, who was in his job for 6-7 years and drafted some of the worst players in the NFL, also drafted some good ones. He's trying to give Brad Holmes some advice on how to draft, on how to be a GM. I'm going to tell you this right now, Mike Tannenbaum. I would think that if anybody should be giving advice, it would be freaking Holmes to you. I know you're well past your ability to be a freaking GM, but this would be one time where you as a former GM should not open your mouth. You, quite literally, by opening your mouth, you made a damn fool out of yourself. Everybody's looking at you like you are some freaking crazy fool who freaking, did something before you got on the set and just, decided to open up your freaking soup kitchen and just spew out whatever crap you wanted to. When you make a freaking proclamation like that of this kind of a trade proposal, I don't care how much of a time you've been an NFL GM. I don't care how much experience you've been in terms of the NFL. You lose all freaking credibility. Because nobody, I again repeat, nobody in their right mind would ever think that this is a trade that is even remotely not only plausible, feasible, but even acceptable. To make a trade like this, you are in essence selling the farm. You are freaking auctioning off your arms and legs for one player. That's not the way the Lions do things. The Lions have never been about trading and getting rid of everything for one individual. That's why their freaking roster building methodology has been resulting in the way it has been. They draft and pick smart players that fit their style of play and also fit their culture. They're not just going to take anybody, and they're certainly as hell not going to overpay for players when they realize that, hey, if they stick true to what they're doing, they're probably going to find somebody later on that not only could fill whatever spot they're trying to find, but actually might fill that spot even better than somebody that they might have decided to go out on the free market for. That's my whole point. That's why when you take a look at how ridiculous this trade proposal is, it's absolutely just, it's mind-blowing. I can't believe that this dude would get on freaking, publicized television, a national television show for sports, talking about football, and make this absolutely ridiculous proposal. If I was Mike Tannenbaum, I would be like, okay, I think it's about time I gave up my job because now I have made myself a damn fool, and this is going to be talked about and remembered for years. It's probably going to be one of the biggest gaffes in television history if you want to talk about for sports networking. But anyway, folks, I'm going to end this episode because I've gone on about it long enough, and I just want to say to everybody, thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these three things: like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, I want to highly encourage y'all please to subscribe, but also I want to encourage y'all to make sure you hit that bell notification icon as well, so that way you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Also want to encourage y'all to share the content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you possibly can, because the more we do that, the greater the channel can grow, the greater the channel can spread, and the more we're able to bring in new viewership. And with that being said, I just want to say to everybody, whether you guys have been a long-term viewer or this is your first time watching me, I hope you all enjoyed the content, and I hope you all got something new out of it. I also hope that everybody's having a great day. Hope you all got something in life that makes you happy, makes you smile. God bless, my friends, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.